And the question just is, why in the world are we, a small independent broker, able to find these options when a big national company isn't? That's a question every company should be asking themselves, because it's not really about the plan, it's about the broker you're working with to determine how much you're really going to pay.
Benefits on the fly.
Okay, well, I'm on my way up to Seattle to meet with one of our newer groups. I want to talk about another company that we were just recently able to have the opportunity to do our market research and show them what we could do. This group was interesting because they're a large manufacturing firm, and they have almost 200 employees. A little over 150 employees are enrolled on their current plan, and their broker has them currently on a fully insured plan, and that hasn't been going so well for them. Last year, they shared with me that their rate increase was 30%. Their broker negotiated it down to 28%. And obviously that wasn't very affordable. So what the group ended up doing was going with the same carrier, but with a smaller network. And by limiting the provider network that their employees could see, that brought those rates down from 28% to 17%. So this year they called and they said, hey, we're realizing that this isn't sustainable. These increases just keep happening year in and year out. And I shared with them too, well, the problem also is that, your rates are never going to go down on that cycle. I mean, think about it. Okay, so whether it's 17 or 28, that's the new benchmark, right? That's the baseline. It's not like your rates are likely going to go down, especially if you stay with that type of insurance model. It's just going to continue to stair step every single year until the point is where you can't go any further. You can't strip down the network anymore. You can't jack up the rates, or you can't increase the deductibles on your employees anymore, and you end up being kind of stuck. And we see this happen over and over. So this year, their broker came to them and said, hey, your rates are going up 22% this year, but I found you an option. And that option is 10% above your current rate. So instead of a 20% increase, it's a 10% increase. And that's the best that broker could do. And the problem with that is that this broker is a national broker. Like, these guys are huge, right? They're what do I call the big three-letter companies. That seems to be the trend with these big national firms. They like three letters for some reason. So we don't need to name the broker, but just know that if you've got three letters in your broker's name, chances are they're one of these. What's interesting is the best that they could do was a 10% increase over current. Part of the problem here is that those big companies, even though they're so large and you'd think they have so much access to better solutions, when they get that big, they tend to only work with certain companies. They kind of have what they call a panel, right? And these are the plans that they like to fit their clients into. It's just easier to scale that way. More importantly, or the real reason is, a lot of those insurance carriers and supplemental carriers and vendors, they give a very large annual bonus to the national brokerage based upon the amount of volume they place with them. So there's this financial incentive for these large national firms to place their clients in these specific companies that pay them the biggest returns and give them the biggest bonuses at the end of the year. As an independent brokerage, we don't do that kind of volume, and we don't get those bonuses. And even if we did, it wouldn't fit within our model because we charge a flat broker fee. We charge a consultant fee, so we work for our clients. We don't work for the insurance companies and their bonuses or their kickbacks or the NFL tickets that they give or whatever incentives they have to try to get us to sell their product over somebody else. We sit on the same side of the table as our clients, working together to figure out who's got the most competitive option for your company. And so we went to work. They hired us as their consultant. We went and did our exhaustive market analysis, and here's what we discovered. We found 7 options that were the same benefits, same size network, in fact, almost identical network in a number of them. 7 options that were better than the best option their broker provided them. So the broker gave them a 10% increase. We found 7 options that were lower than that. And the question is, why didn't their broker find those same 7 options? Last year they got stuck with a 30% down to 28, down to 17. 17 was what they ended up with. This year, 22%, 21%, down to 10%. Then their broker finagled the out-of-pocket a little bit to make the plan a little bit worse for the employees, but it brought the increase down to about 6%. From there, from 6%, we found 7 other options that fell in below that 6% increase. And on top of that, out of those 7, 3 of them were less than what they're paying now. The 4th one was basically right what they're paying currently right now. And the question just is, why in the world are we, a small independent broker, able to find these options when a big national company isn't? That's a question every company should be asking themselves, because it's not really about the plan, it's about the broker you're working with to determine how much you're really going to pay. Out of those three options, one of them was 8.1% below their current rate, and another one was 5% below their current rate, but it came with a 2-year rate lock. So you want to talk about rate stability here. They can pay less, 5% less than what they were paying the previous year, and not have to worry about any rate increase for 24 months. So those are the options that we presented to this group. And the challenge, I think, is for any company is to pay attention. Don't just assume that because you work with a big national broker, don't expect that you're seeing all of your options, because there's huge financial incentives behind those recommendations that are probably going to keep you pigeonholed in plans that are not the most competitive for your company and certainly not going to be the best options for your employees.